I'm on my lunch break right now. Well, sort of. Still at the shop, but I'm not really doing any work at the moment. I know I'm on my backup channel, and if anyone will watch this, but I don't know. Not that much happened in the NFL world today. Well, actually, no. That's kind of why I went live to begin with in the first place. Russell Wilson is apparently really frustrated at Seahawks um, front management, their front office, as far as him never having a good offensive line, never building or establishing a good offensive line. Now, does this mean he wants out of Seattle? I don't think so. I don't think Russell Wilson would want to leave Seattle. I mean, at the end of the day, he signed a lifetime contract, making $35 million per year. As a top three quarterback in the NFL, and he's going to have a large trade value if he wants out, maybe even larger than Deshaun Watson. But I don't believe Russell Wilson will leave. I believe this is all a smokescreen. I believe this all points to the fact that, the man needs some help as far as offensive line goes. I mean, it doesn't matter how great you are. I mean, we saw it last night or a couple nights ago, rather, with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Um, you know, um, you got to win through the trenches. Kansas City, despite the fact that they were missing without their two tackles, and Mike Remmers was starting at left tackle. Mike Remmers is just god beyond trash. I mean, I don't even know how he's still in the league. He had two terrible performances in the Super Bowl. Um, couldn't block Von Miller, couldn't block Shaq Barrett, man. Uh, and he just did not play well at all. So it is what it is. Um, and then you saw Tampa Bay with their defensive line, they were just going after Mahomes all night. So the game is really won through the trenches. And even though Tom Brady won the Super Bowl MVP, really, it should have went to the defense at the end of the day. It should have went to either guys like Devin White or Shaq Barrett or JPP, you know, um, or even Gronk, and it's not no disrespect to Tom Brady whatsoever. I mean, Tom Brady's a GOAT. He threw for three touchdown passes, yes, but still, like I'm just saying. But obviously, I mean, it's a QB's league, and you can't win without having quarterback perform. It's funny too because if you look at Tom Brady's stats in the postseason, I mean, obviously he had a great game against the Washington team, but that was against the Washington team. Let's be real. But then again, they also had a really good defense. And a lot of people, or some people rather, there were some of those majority of the people that it was really more just a silent majority that were saying that Washington was actually going to pull off the upset, which I didn't believe not one bit. I mean, they made it interesting. They made it close. I give them credit there, but still, like, I just didn't believe it was going to happen. And then they went into New Orleans, and Tom Brady threw for less than 200 passing yards, had two touchdowns. Tampa really benefited off of getting some like key turnovers. And then obviously in the NFC Championship game, Brady had a great first half, but then the second half he was just I mean, he was trying to give the game away by throwing like what now one, now two, but three interceptions, bro. Then the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes played like complete dog shit. I mean, yeah, his offensive line did no favors whatsoever, but still, like, you know, at the same time too, like at the end of the day, if you're this great quarterback, if you're getting paid $40 million per year, if you have Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill and all the other weapons, you have to find a way, right? I mean, you've been finding a way without, your offensive line. Just their right tackle hadn't been healthy for most of the season. Their left guard opted out. Sammy Watkins was missing for most of the season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was hurt. You know what I mean? I mean, other besides Kelsey and Hill, hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back, you guys. Like I said, zero people watching. I'm just gonna put it on my channel just to kind of just talk some football and whatnot, man. Um, yeah, as I was saying, like as long as with Mahomes, as long as Hill and Kelsey stay healthy, there's really no excuses at the end of the day. And again, you're making $40 million per year, and 9 points is gonna. You only scored 9 points. 9 points. Say what you want about all the rest. Say what you want about the offensive line. But at the same time, too, it's like if we're gonna slander on guys like Lamar Jackson or like Josh Allen or like Aaron Rodgers, then it's time that we slander on Patrick Mahomes too. I mean, honestly, I trolled some Chiefs fans about him losing to a 42-year-old Tom Brady in the 2018 NFC Championship game, but at the same time, too, it's like he played well. I mean, in the first half, obviously, he didn't play well. But in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, when it counted, when you had to make the plays, he did. And I gave him credit. Maybe if he would have gotten the ball back, he probably would have won. Who knows? But in these last two Super Bowls that he's played in, he has not played well. He has not. He only played one good quarter, in my opinion. That was in the fourth quarter. And even in that fourth quarter of the not this Super Bowl, but last year's Super Bowl, they were an interception. You know, if it wasn't for that big play to Tyreek Hill, they would have lost. Mahomes would have been 0-2 Super Bowls, and none of us would be saying right now that he's the best quarterback in the NFL, or is going to be this was going to be this next big thing. Now, obviously, he's out of the GOAT conversation, but now people in the media are still thinking as if that the Chiefs are going to go back to the Super Bowl next year. And listen, don't get me wrong. I mean, they got a chance with Patrick Mahomes, but this is where the big contract comes into play because now they can't get sign players like receivers, like a receiver number two, because clearly they need one. Sammy Watkins just can't stay healthy, and he was even when he played in that Super Bowl wasn't even a big factor at all. And then not to mention too, they got to also build off of offensive line help. You know what I mean? Um, I'd say sign a right tackle because Mitchell Schwartz can't stay healthy. It seems like interior offensive line, maybe that's needed as well. But at the same time, too, how can you do that when you're in complete dead cap? Not to mention, too, your linebackers are weak. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones were just running it up the gut. Um, so this is where you're going to have to hope that you can draft well. But at the same time, too, all these players are going to be gone by the time you pick because you're going to be picking in the early 30s, the late 20s every single year from here on out. And it's like eventually these tactics are going to be figured out. What you're doing on offense is eventually going to be figured out. Because guess what? All you need to do is this. You play too deep to prevent Hill making the big play. Then you play cover two and cover three, you know, having the inside linebacker play up the middle so that you don't see Kelsey underneath. If you double team those guys, who does Patrick Mahomes really have to throw to at the end of the day? Demarcus Robinson, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins? You take away those two guys, and those guys are receiving cores. There's no way that the Chiefs would be lucky to even win 10 games with that receiving core. So hopefully, Clyde Edwards-Helaire can stay healthy moving forward because you're going to need Clyde Edwards-Helaire moving forward. You guys need to start establishing a running game. If you don't, then you're fine. And I don't see it because Clyde Edwards-Helaire seems like he can't stay healthy. Even when he's playing, it's like he might have one good game in like once every 6 weeks, and then he'll go back to being just how do I even explain it? Just like I don't even know. Like they just don't utilize him as much. It's kind of a shame because he was running the ball very well at the beginning of the second half, and then you guys stop handing him the ball. Why was that? I mean, you guys were down by 15 starting the second half, but if you guys score that touchdown, you're right back in it. Instead, you wanted to go ahead and pass, 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 pass. And now this is where I'm starting to question a little bit of, were we drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid when it came to Eric Bieniemy? Is that why Eric Bieniemy still doesn't have a job yet? Because let's be real, he has a lot of talent to work with. Let's be real. The last Chiefs offensive coordinators didn't really work out. I mean, yeah, Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year in 2018. Yeah, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, right? But what have they done ever since? You know? So it should be interesting. And then obviously, I think the Chiefs, with the with the Raiders and the Chargers, I think we'll be better. We'll see what Denver does. I think at the end of the day, they need to get a quarterback, but they're going to be healthier. So the AFC West, it's not going to be easy moving forward for the Chiefs. The AFC is not going to be general. That's why I think like the Chiefs won't be in a Super Bowl for a while. I don't. I don't see them making it next year. I don't see them making it in 2022. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll corral the Chiefs. I'll say I'm wrong, but I feel like at this point, moving forward, Mahomes has to carry the Chiefs, and I don't think he can do that. We saw it last or 2 nights ago with the Chiefs. He can't carry a football team. He came into a great situation. Obviously, he made the Chiefs a Super Bowl contender, but they were already a playoff contender. It's kind of like with Tom Brady. He went to the Patriots. They were already a pretty decent team with Drew Bledsoe. Then in comes Tom Brady. They turn into a great team. Also helps. It also helps them when you're cheating. And it's like the same thing with Joe Montana and Steve Young. Joe Montana built a great team in San Francisco. And once Steve Young came over, Steve Young's a great quarterback as well. I mean, it was the same thing. So, like I said, man, Chiefs fans, be grateful though at the end of the day that you won last year, because you easily could have lost if it wasn't for Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo and the refs throwing away the game for you guys. Because had you guys would have lost, I mean, we're talking. We may have a real conversation about if Patrick Mahomes is going to be the next Dan Marino. The way I see it now, I think he's going to be the next Russell Wilson, maybe. Because Russell Wilson, he can't carry a football team. That's why I think he's so frustrated at management, because it's like, listen, as great as I am, sometimes I need a little bit of help. And really, there's really no quarterback that I can think of that has truly carried a team. If you can think of one, please let me know. I've never seen it. I've never, maybe Peyton Manning, but at the same time, too, Peyton Manning had a lot of help too. I've never seen a quarterback lead this team to a Super Bowl title where you have to carry the team. I never have. And again, if there was, please let me know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and kind of end in here, just talking a little bit about football and whatnot, man. Heading into this off season, gonna be a lot of big changes happening this off season. So see what happens. Anyways, you guys, it's been your boy Ash Trader, and I am out. Peace and go Raiders, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.